Hey everyone, I am your astrologer Brittany with Horoscope.com. Here are 3 things you need to know in order to make today, Monday, March 25th, 2019, a success. Now the first thing I want to talk about is going to be right here where the moon is. Now the moon is going to enter the sign of Sagittarius very, very early this morning. When the moon's in Sagittarius, it brings our attention to doing new things, doing different things, changing our perspective, seeing things in different ways, maybe even traveling, studying or learning something different as well. Typically, I do love a moon in Sagittarius for being one that's very optimistic, very exuberant, very positive, full of energy, but this one may be a little bit different. That's because right when this moon enters Sagittarius early this morning, maybe while some of us are still sleeping, this moon is then going to make a trine over here to Chiron and Aries. So what's going on here is I think we're realizing that our life is different. We want it to be different. We're ready for changes to occur in our life to make it more exciting. But I think us actually doing the new things, stepping into this new territory, living a different life, traveling, moving, branching out, is uncomfortable for us. We want it, but we're uncomfortable doing it. It's exciting, but it's scary. It's, yeah, because it's new, we're unsure. So I think there's a lot of that's going on here. And I think needing to the best that you can, keep the passion high, keep the faith high. Sagittarius is the sign of religion. It's the sign of our belief systems. You have to believe that even if you're uncomfortable, even if you don't know what you're doing, if you try the best that you can and do the best you can with humility, that it will work. And I think that will help you to move forward. The next alignment that's going to occur is then going to be a few hours later around breakfast time. Around breakfast time, this moon in Sagittarius is then going to make a trine over here to the sun in Aries. So to me, that gives me more confidence here that if you are not afraid to keep the faith, to keep the passion, to keep the optimism, even if things feel uncomfortable, even if you feel uncertain or insecure, that as you move throughout the day, you're going to start to move forward, doing things differently, conceptualizing your new identity and moving on, okay? So that's what I think is going here. We're realizing that in order for us to have a life that we want more and to work with relationships in a better way that we feel resonates with us truly, deeply, spiritually, emotionally, that we have to be a new person. We have to do things differently. And I think it could feel uncomfortable at first for us to realize this, but can actually be very, very positive once we get the hang of things to help us move forward and to let yourself do that. Now, the second thing I want to talk about, maybe I'll go here. Number 2, back to Venus, coming into the last degrees of Aquarius. What this can bring is that in order for us to go on some new journey, to find more of the passion and the optimism, doing things differently, we may have to think of our relationships and our money, Venus, in unusual ways, Aquarius. We may have to allow ourselves to see a very different future than we saw a few weeks, months, or years ago with relationships and money to help us bridge the gap, transition into this much better space. Especially with Venus and Aquarius here about to make a sextile to Uranus and Taurus, I think we need to not be afraid to do the different thing, to mix things up in some way here. And I think there's going to be an opportunity, the more that you try to break routine, the more that you try to break habit, to listen to what your soul needs and to consider different opportunities. I think it's going to eventually help you in the next few days to start to feel better. But you're not going to feel better in the life that you're now living, doing things differently, if you're still living by an old set of rules. So I do think there's a lot going on here that really is all about throwing out your rule book, throwing out your guidebook of the way you thought things should be and how they should happen, and becoming a student in your life to learn how to do things in new ways. And I think if you can have that student mindset, the perpetual learner, it's going to help you be okay with what's occurring in your life and realize it's not so scary and that there's a beautiful opportunity unfolding before you. Now, the third and the last thing perhaps I'll talk about, maybe I'll go back to Mercury, number 3. Mercury is stationing to go direct after being retrograde in this long, confusing retrograde period that we've had, making a lot of interesting aspects. And I do Love it when a Mercury stations. To me, this again is more about clarity, more about things hitting home. Anything that may have been difficult for you to understand or to talk about, or that may have come up the past few days and weeks, I think are now going to start to get more clear for you, much easier for you to understand. And with Mercury here being in Pisces, a super emotional sign, I think this is going to help you to not only do new things that you need and to conceptualize an entirely new identity, even if you have to be the student and have the learner's mindset in order to get there, but I think this is the alignment that's finally going to help you, if not now, then in the next few weeks once Mercury leaves Pisces, to stop feeling like a fish out of water, to stop feeling like you're all over the place, to stop feeling like emotionally there's something that's being torn in the other direction. And I think this alignment here, Mercury going direct as it moves out of Aries, is finally going to help you to get on board, not only mentally, but spiritually and emotionally and logically. Yeah, all of the things. Spiritually, emotionally, and logically with what has now occurred in your life, so that you won't be torn or still stuck in the past or half in and half out. And we're getting there, and this is it. And conversations, I think, are going to start to get more positive as a result. More clarity is going to come, because now we at least know what's going on in our life, what's new or different, and are starting to take steps to get there in different ways. All right, so that is your daily planetary forecast for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you tomorrow.